Good evening and welcome. I'm your host, Bob Pace, and here we are tonight to fight the child protection system. Stop taking our children. I call CPS the child protection system. I know there are a lot of places across the country, many states, they have different names for their child protection system. In California, it's the Child Protection Services. Arizona's Department of Children's Services. In Kentucky, it's the Bureau, and every place seems to be different. But when I say CPS, I mean all of the agencies that are responsible to, protect our children from abuse and neglect, and also provide social service help to families in need when they're trying to take care of their family, and when they tear apart the family, to put them back with family reunification, because the best parents are the biological parents. They're the best ones to raise children. And it's awful what CPS has become right now. It's become a rogue agency. They're not transparent. They are lie and they cheat. And it's really, 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 really tough. Whoops. I forgot my collar. It's not down. Dang it. Oh, geez. I'm starting a little bit late tonight, only because my internet, for some strange reason, was down when I got home. I'm out all day because I can't seem to park in my neighborhood right now until I get my car smog complete, and the devices that they want are running around $4,000. So I don't have the money quite yet to get the smog thing. It's paid in registration fees, but they like to give you tickets. I live in a very bad city, I guess. I love where I live, but it's close to the beach, but it's very rich. And anyway, don't need to talk about that. We want to talk about the child protection system. Now, there's certain things I want to go over, how they interact with this. Sometimes we have a guest. Last night we had a guest. It was nice. She was from Pennsylvania, Chrissa, and she told me about her 6 children and her 2 groups of children, similar to mine. But it was interesting having her. I had other people as a guest. But one of the first ways, before we start taking phone calls, I don't want to take calls and interrupt you. So I'm just going to temporarily turn off the phone number. I'll turn it back on. But I like to start with the first thing you can interact, and that's like being in the room. By you being in the room is all you need to do. Listen, take notes, and you'll hopefully have something that will help you. Now, if you want to text a comment, let's say you have a question or a comment. Let me see here. You can text a comment right there on YouTube. Now, you found me on Facebook, Fighting CPS Bob Pace, and this is the program tonight. Is Fight CPS, Stop Taking Our Children. The other one in the morning is Fighting CPS with Bob Pace. Anyway, I use the StreamYard application, and it's broadcast on YouTube worldwide. We're seen in a lot of countries. And yes, I mean a lot of countries. So far, the countries have been Bangladesh, New Delhi, India, several countries in Africa, like the province of South Africa. One of them called in. I forgot what the province was. I have to look it up. And then there was Mozambique, which is opposite on the east coast from the island of Madagascar. And then we have in Central East Africa, a country called Rwanda, which is near Lake Victoria. And they had a terrible thing happen in 94. That's where the 1 million people were wiped out by war. And then 500,000 women were raped. The females were raped. It's a horrific, sad time for them. And it was really sad. Then you go up to northern Africa on the west coast to Liberia. And that's the other guy that has been calling. His name is Archie. And he is a scout leader. He works with boys and girls in scouts, and he listens in on the program. Then we go up to Europe. I've had England, Scotland, Wales, the United Kingdom texts in. I've had Denmark and Sweden. Then we go across the pond, and I have North America with Canada on both coasts, both sides. All the 50 states have called in or texted in about CPS, and I would say about 99% of them, CPS isn't working for them. They are not transparent. They steal children. They traffic children, which is illegal, and they alienate children. I know from firsthand experience. But then we go down to the border of Mexico, and I've had a father calling looking for his girls in Louisiana. And then we go down to South America, and I had Guyana, that is a text message. And they have a coastal town called Georgetown. They're east of Venezuela and north of Brazil. Then we go across the Pacific to the land down under, and I've had Australia text messages in here about the problems they're having. So this podcast is worldwide. So please put your name, city, state, or country, and be complete with your CPS case. What I mean by that is if you call in or if you want to type in a comment, you need to put it so that you first talk about your family. What is your family made of? Is it a husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, lovers, partnership? Are you a single parent or are both parents involved? What are the ages of the children and the sexes of the children? Are the same parents with those children? Do you have several different fathers, several different mothers? So you need to really tell what your family structure is like. Then I want to hear about the allegations, neglect, or abuse, and maybe some details on them. And then after that, I'd like to know how they took your children. Was domestic violence? Did you surrender them yourself? Did you take them down to the agency's office? Was there a court warrant? Was there a court paperwork, a warrant that said they could take your children? Also, another way they can take your children besides you voluntarily give them or a court order is domestic violence. If there's domestic violence going on, where there's hitting and screaming and yelling, and the child is slammed against the wall or being abused, they're going to enter the home. Also, if there's weapons like a knife or a gun, there's people getting hurt, they're going to enter the home. So that's the third way. So I've said you let them in your home, or you have a court warrant, or there was domestic violence. So that's how I want to know how they took your children. Then after that, where you at on your case. So if you can tell me when you text in that little bit of the story, so I don't have to play ping pong ball. I don't mind it, but it's back and forth. It's time consuming. So if you say everything up front, then we won't have to play ping pong. That's the second way of interacting with this podcast. The third way is to be a guest. And like I said, last night I had a guest. And all you have to do is contact our show producer. Her name is Grace, and she will help you get on the podcast. She'll give you the link to StreamYard, tell you what you can do and not do. Like there's no eating or smoking on the podcast. There's no usage of names for the children, the social workers, the judges, or let me see. I think I covered it all there. So we want to keep the names confidential there. Now, all you do is I'm on the show, 7 days a week, twice a day. That's 14 shows. I'm on typically at 10 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time for an hour. And typically typically evenings at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But sometimes I change those times. Like right now on Sunday, I'm on at 8 o'clock in the morning. I have a commitment with my family that I do on Sunday morning. And so I come on at 8 in the morning. And this past week, I've been in a seminar, so I was leaving at 9:45. I think the seminar is over. So I would come on at 10 o'clock per se. Now, Saturday may be a problem because there's a function my son's going to that I may have to do the show early afternoon. I'm thinking about 3 or 4 o'clock. I need to talk to my show producer if there's no podcast scheduled at 3 or 4 on Saturday. I need to know what she has to say about that. So um, that is the third way. That is the third way. And welcome, Christina Reynoso from New Mexico, San Bernardino, and Nevada. That's the place she's been. And she says she's going to email me. Great. That is super, Christina. And welcome. She's a single mother fighting for her kids. So I'm glad to have her in the room. Now, the fourth way of interacting with this podcast is the call. As you saw when I first came on, my phone number is posted. And I put it back up because now I can take phone calls. It's hard when someone calls in and I have to stop the interacting there. So all you do is you call into my office phone, 626 698 0990. Now, hopefully my phone's all right. Somehow I have a virus and things are changed and I can't get rid of certain things on my phone. And let me see here. Where's my Vonage? I don't see Vonage. Oh, God. They've taken things off my phone and put them somewhere else. So let me get Vonage going here. Trying to get Vonage here so I can find it. V for Vonage. There it is. Okay. Okay, there's Vonage. I got Vonage back on. Also, I want to contact a couple people that may not got the notification right away. My whole phone, the fonts and everything, it's all changed. So it says no calls connectivity. So now I got to probably, oh, good grief. Now my internet's somewhere. Oh, geez. Okay. Hold on a second here. Geez. Hmm. Hmm. Uh, the phone works on Vonage, which is an internet, and my phone, I had to do the resetting, so all my passwords, everything is all messed up on here. So, excuse me for a second here. I tried to go to AT&T to fix it, and they didn't help me. So AT&T, where is AT&T? Oh, it's not AT&T. It's going to be Frontier because it's my router I'm trying to do here. Let me see, EFG Frontier. Okay, router number 1941. Okay. 1941. 1941. Okay, 0056. 86. Okay. Okay, so now I gotta check says incorrect password. One 1941 0056. Okay. All right, it's connected. Well, I have to enter it again. Okay. Now Vonage should be connected now. Open it up. And let me see if I can contact the people to get them notified here. I think I got a message from Danielle. I am live. Please join me. Okay, I just notified Danielle, who's my co-host, and she got on 2 nights ago, and I haven't seen her since. But she says she can be on. So she's from Georgia. She's a single mother. She has a special needs son who's 19, and CPS is so corrupt they're trying to kidnap her child, even though he's of age. She's just trying to be. She's trying to get custody of her child. So now I want to get. Let me see here. Faye. Faye's from Georgia, so okay. That's Faye's from Richmond, Georgia. She has a special needs son who's 23, and she's trying to get custody, but the police are giving her a hard time and stuff. And so that's right, no good. And then there is Natila, who's from West Hollywood. Um, okay. She's a single mother too. So I've notified 3 people that are normally in my room. I got 4 of them because I got Christina Renosa. And before I get started, I have 5 rules that I've come up with over my podcast. I've been podcasting since October of 2023. And so that is a long time, 2 times a day, every day. I don't think I've missed any days yet. And so what I want you all to understand that what you're in right now is a really tough world. Life skills didn't prepare you for this. And I do teach some life skills because life skills are very important. You know, we go to school to learn and our parents try to teach you, but no one has a manual or a book or anything there. So life skills are important. Now, who am I? I'm a loving father with 6 children. I've been married for 31 years. I too have been caught up in CPS, and CPS happened to me in 2015. And from 2015 to 17, They had kidnapped my three children, trafficked my three children, and alienated my three children from the family. Now, it started really back in 2010 when I was at age 16. I got laid off from a job. I had a career job, and that was the first time that I was laid off, and it was really hard for me to swallow. So, with that being said, um, I started getting hassled, and I couldn't understand why the CPS was seeing me every week. Well, they were getting reports from my in laws, they're lay people. See, there's two types of people that can make allegations: the professional people that are required by law, like policemen, firemen, teachers, principals, counselors, doctors, etc. They're required by law to report any suspected child abuse or child neglect. Now, the other kind of person is the professional person. Excuse me, is the lay person. They're your friends, family, relatives, the person next door, neighbors, whatever it is. Those are lay people, and they have a tendency to use CPS to their advantage to retaliate against neighbors. Their dog barks too much, the neighbor's yard is overgrown their yard, stupid stuff like that. So they'll make up stories. The only problem is the child protection system believes every story they hear like it's the truth, and you're guilty until you're proven innocent. They do attempt to do an investigation, but their typical MO is when they hear someone report someone like they're not paying attention to them or something like that, they automatically come to your home and they take your child, whether they're in imminent danger or not. They don't follow those three rules of taking children from your home. Your home is your castle, and you don't want to answer the door, and you don't want to let the police in or the social workers in. The only way they can get in that home if there's domestic violence or they have a court order. And if you're quiet back part of your home, they can't break the door down. They can't break the door down. They're going to break the door down to suspect things. They'll use con things. We're doing a welfare check, or we want to see how the kids are. What they're doing, they're fishing. The reason why they want in your home, they want to find something. They may not have anything on you. So you got to be really careful. You got to be really, 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 really careful. Um, okay, I was just taping a message to my show producer, and looks like she went off. All right, let me go ahead and try to do it there. Okay. Okay, I just had to go back there. So now looks like we got Faye in there. Hey, Bob, I've been busy as a bee. My dad is in the hospital. He was a wreck. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. We all have to pray for Faye's father. That is so sad to hear that. That's okay. And welcome, Faye. I'm so glad you're here. Debbie Williams, you are telling the truth. Thank you, Debbie. I don't know what city, state, or country you're from, but I'd like to know. Faye says he has only been, Faye says he's okay, but he is banged up and some broken limbs. Oh, boy. Well, I definitely say some special prayers, especially this Sunday. I have a prayer group, and hopefully your dad will recover with no problems there. I know you love your parents, even though they weren't very supportive of you when you grew up. Faye's a remarkable woman. No matter how bad her parents treat her, she always loves them. And that's what's so nice about families. We need to love one another, no matter how bad it is. And CPS is so corrupt and so trauma on everybody. I don't know what it is, but it's really bad. I'm not sure if Danielle's going to make it or not. She said she would be tonight, but I don't see her here. And hopefully she will come on. Maybe she needs the link from my show producer, Grace. But anyway, um, today was an interesting day for me. A lot of fires to put out, a lot of hectic things in there and stuff. And so right now, um, it's 7:40, so we got about 20 minutes left here of the show. Yeah, Debbie, I know that CPS is corrupt. And for you that are just texting in, you're new, please show me your city, state, and your country so I kind of get an idea where you're from. Also, all of you can call in at 626-698-0990. And I'd love to have you call in. Um, I have lots of topics I can talk about. I can talk about my 5 rules or talk more about my case, maybe some things that would help you guys with your case. Um, Whatever you do, you want to make sure that you keep your children with you at all times. Do not surrender them. As I told you, there's only 3 ways. You don't need to talk to social workers. You don't need to surrender your children. They need a court order to be surrendered. There's not extreme danger going on in your home. My kids were taken from me when they're at school. Now, how's that extreme danger when my kids were picked up at school and taken into a shelter and put in danger? They were actually put in danger. You see, there was a foster care shelter in Orange County next to the courts. It's also next door to the juvenile prison. Now, they're juveniles serving time, and their play yard is right adjacent to the shelter play yard for CPS, the Child Protection Services there. Now, they can go out in their play yard, and then they'll be intermixing with the prisoners because their play yard is right next to it. And on top of that, their play yard my children were at were full of bee nests, and they could have get stung. So they're put in danger. They're overcrowded. The sleeping was terrible. The food was bad, and their idea of school is read a book to them. Now my kids are very much they're in STEM program where they were taking science, technology, and engineering math classes, and so my son was going to a private school at 15, and he's trying to pursue calculus and physics, AP college, taking AP classes. They're very accelerated there. And my daughter was taking schools in middle school, and she was, and so is my young son. So all my kids, um, you know, were not in danger at school. And why they took them? Oh, they're in enemy danger. Well, CPS has gotten so corrupt. If you let them do something, they'll do it. If they tell you the moon's green and you believe them, you know, that's what I'm trying to say is you need to know. And the problem is you weren't given these life skills growing up. You weren't prepared for CPS. and CPS is bad. I like to start a program called Life Skills for families. I want to help families with life skills. And what I mean by help with families' life skills, tell them about the things they don't know, like CPS, the IRS, you know, um, how to go on a date, how to do timeouts, how to discipline your children, how to, feed them. I mean, there's so many things that you may not know. There are all kinds of classes you can take and so forth like that. Because a lot of us aren't prepared for children. We have the baby, but we don't know what we're going to do with this baby or raise it. We only know from our experience. Our experience could have been pretty traumatic. So let me see. Debbie said something here. Um, the whole system's crook. There's no due process right. They don't follow the policy. They don't follow the law. I would like to show you some of my evidence. So I'd love to see it, Debbie. I also like to know what city and state you're from. That would be really helpful there. So, as you know, when your kids are taken, they're put into all kinds of foster traps. I mean, the foster shelter is bad. The foster group home is bad. My kids were in both of those, and the single family homes were bad. And my son was in there. It was really sad. I had 6 children, as I told you, 3 older ones that weren't affected by this, but 3 young ones. And my case started in 2010 as just allegations that were founded every week. I'd show the social worker. Nope, the kids are in school. Here's their grade reports. Nope, the kids got clothes. I mean, there's stupid things that you could tell they were stupid there. So that went on for 5 years until they finally got tired and they wanted to find something. And I don't know why they didn't find anything. Probably because my home up to the time, up to 2015, was fine. But when it happened, my dad had died, my mom was dying, and they wanted to sell the house. So I had my daughter help me. We took all the belongings my dad and mom had for 55 years in a U-Haul truck, the ones that they wanted to give away to the family, and I put it in my home. Well, that was the mistake because when I stacked the furniture and stacked the boxes, even though they were only in the living room, not the whole house. My house is huge, by the way. They said that would cause neglect to the children. That means a box could fall on or a chair could fall. I said, they don't live down here. They have their own bedrooms. There's plenty of easy walkways. They were so bad. They were so bad. It was, I don't, as I look back, it was a big mistake. If I knew what I knew now, I would never have lost my children. I would never have lost my children. Okay, you're from Michigan. Debbie, what part of Michigan are you? Um, are you from Chicago? Because I know that there's a social worker. Oh, that's in Illinois. I'm sorry. Chicago, Illinois, Michigan. That's Lake Michigan. I keep thinking of Illinois is on Michigan, but Michigan. Anyway, um, glad to welcome. So right now, Faye, is there something you'd like to talk about? Or I mean, you give me all kinds of links and suggestions and things. Is there anything you like to talk about, Faye? What you've been doing, or what's new, or what you've learned, or anything like that? That'd be great. Um, Hi, Faye.
Hey, Bob.
Welcome. I'm glad you called me.
So today I've been dealing with my dad and what happened with him today, and then been trying to help people with their cases all day today. So in Kentucky, again, just like social workers, I found out in Kentucky that social workers, they have to be licensed, and also guardian ad litems that are appointed to be attorneys for your children have to be attorneys themselves. Well, in cases here, not attorneys. They're not even licensed under the bar.
Yeah. You're the attorneys are not even on the bar.
The guardian ad litems are not even registered with the bar.
Wow.
Yeah. And they're required to be court practicing attorneys to be able to be appointed to a minor case, like when you're going through DCBS or DCF or whatever. If they're not, they can't be appointed to it. But here in Kentucky, I'm finding that more of these guardian ad litems are just volunteers rather than attorneys. And I'm not talking about a CASA. I'm talking about an actual guardian ad litem.
Really?
Yes.
And that is all over Kentucky or just in your area?
I'm hearing about it all throughout Kentucky.
Wow.
I was just on the phone with a girl, so I was tonight helping her. I told her, I said, look, I said, with the case that you have, I said, it would be smart for you to look into your children's guardian ad litem, even if that means having to hire a private attorney a private investigator to do that. I said, and your 15-year-old that has been the start of all this mess, that's been lying and calling in to the social workers, and now he's with the aunt, and the aunt's allowing him to drink and drug and sleep with his girlfriend underage. I said, the way to do that is to hire a private attorney to look into the mom and the aunt's backgrounds, and then also when they're at the home and they're drinking and partying with the parents there and them allowing them to do it, call the police and have a well child check done and tell them that there's adults there allowing children to drink and that could be drunk, and send them to that address.
Wow.
I said, because that's the only way that you're going to catch this boy up in his lies and prove that everything that he has done is based off him just wanting to get his way and be able to go to his mom, which is on drugs and this and that, and catch her up in her stuff too. It's a whole lot of it, a whole lot you have to do. But I would have never known in my case that one of my social workers had criminal records, or that my child's foster parent was cheating on her husband if I hadn't hired a private investigator.
Wow.
Yeah. So that can really help in a case. Hiring a private investigator can really help. Doing child welfare, visits to the home by the police when there's things that's going on, and the caseworker's not addressing it, will help in a case as well. But it needs to be somebody besides you that calls it in.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's just a few tips that helped in my case. That's how I was able to get a heads up in my case.
Yeah. Oh, so what is that? So what does it all translate in layman terms?
Like, what do you mean?
Well, I'm trying to understand the picture here. If these people that are not attorneys, they're going to steer people the wrong way, aren't they?
I mean, if they're not an attorney and they're required to be an attorney in the state of Kentucky, which is states in the KRS statutes that they are required to be an attorney, and they're not, then I would think that that parent's attorney could ask for the guardian ad litem to be replaced.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's a good thing because a lot of these guardian ad litems are giving the parents a hard time and they're not helping at all and making the situation worse. Bella, get out of the road. Bella. Bella, come on. Bella. My cat's in the road. I hope she don't run over it.
Oh, yeah. For people that don't know, Faye has numerous cats and dogs, and she loves them, and so she takes care of them.
Don't hit my kitty. Belle. She won't get out of the road. I can't make her get out. I hope she don't get hit. Oh, she got out of the road, thank God. But yeah. So I mean, that's just a thing for parents to look into if you've got a case. I mean, you know, a private investigator can help you tremendously in your case, and doing welfare checks on even the foster parents. If you think that there's something going on with the foster parent and they're abusing your child, and you're, you know, expressing this to the caseworker and the caseworker won't do a thing about it, send the police to the house, have them do welfare checks on the children.
Well, welfare checks is a cop out.
Yeah, you send a cop out. Yes, and they're supposed to investigate on whether or not that child is okay, whether or not that child looks all right when he sees them. You know, a cop can tell if a child is acting weird or if that child is reaching out like, help me please, or if he sees visible bruises and marks on that child, then he has the right at that point to investigate further. Or if he goes to that house and that house has actively got domestic violence going on in it, or if it smells of drugs, then there you go. They have a right then to investigate further as well.
Yeah. So what do you think is a solution to all this mess? What's your opinion?
I don't know, Bob. That's like asking me to solve the world hunger. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is to all of it. All I know is there's strategies that you can use to fight it, you know, to try to win your case, but I don't know. That ultimate solution would be to completely shut down every DCF, DCBS Child Protection Services agency and rebuild it from the bottom to the top with better trained workers that hold degrees and licenses, that are older, that are, you know, have life experience, instead of these little wet behind the ear 20-year-olds that don't have no kids, never been married, and have not a clue what it's like to even manage a real life. You know, you're straight out of college, still living probably at home with your mommy.
Yeah.
So they need to stop hiring ridiculousness and start hiring actual people that have the expertise in this, you know, line of work.
Wow.
And there needs to be mental health checks done, drug checks done, and there needs to be background checks and things like that, and they don't do that near often enough with social workers. I know social workers right now working in Madison County where I live that have criminal backgrounds.
Okay. Did I lose you? Are you still there?
No, I'm here.
Okay. My phone got a virus in there. I got something called, and I don't know how to get rid of it. It's so bad. It is so bad.
What is it?
I was trying to watch a free football game. Bishop Gorman is playing Kuluku from Hawaii. They're high school things. And what I have is something said Hun for and dogs. It's DIOGS com for my computer. And it is so bad. It is so bad.
Other cat.
Mm.
Yeah, well, then don't you have like a virus scan on your phone?
I thought I did, but I forgot to check that certificate, the HTTP. You got to make sure when you get something. It was too good to be true, but I was scrambling on there. So anyway, I'll look at the time now. It looks like our time's up. It's 8:00. And so I got to curtail this podcast. So I want to thank all of you for listening. I'll be on again tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So all of you that have further questions, please call me back tomorrow. It's so nice to meet you, Debbie. And you're from Michigan, and I welcome you. Faye, you're wonderful for being on my show tonight. I really like talking to you, and you helped me out. The information you provided was really nice. And Christina Reynolds is going to send me an email about her case. So thank you all for calling in tonight. God bless you all. And hopefully you'll see Danielle tomorrow. She said she'd be on tonight, but apparently she didn't make it. So keep fighting for your kids. Don't give up. And look at my other podcasts for about the 5 rules and anything else. Listen to all my podcasts. A lot of information I give. So good night.